Can you talk to us a little bit about the state of reporting in general?
Yeah, I think that journalism's going through a pretty big moment, and the journalists that I speak with typically have 8 sources of income. They're writing for 5 different outlets as a freelancer. They've got a Substack that they're monetizing. They've got hourly consultations, and they're selling a course or a book and things of that nature. So it's pretty hard for a journalist, and they're always looking out for their next opportunity, which also means that you've got to be able to track what journalist is covering which beat and which outlet, and that's consistently moving. So there's 2 different types of PR. There's reactive PR and there's proactive PR. The reactive piece is really where we focus, where a journalist is working on a story, they need a source for that story, and they need to connect with them for an interview or to get some comments so they can include it in their article and put it over the finish line and ultimately get paid. And what Featured does and what HARO does is it summarizes a bunch of journalist requests. It allows you to search through, find the one that's most relevant, and respond directly to the journalist. So reactive PR is probably the most accessible portion of public relations. And then the proactive piece is going in saying, hey, I've got news to share. I want to go find journalists that might be interested in that news. And that's traditionally where you have the spray and pray approach with a press release, but more targeted, I guess, announcements and messages are typically what's working in 2026.
That makes a lot of sense. And I thought you were going to say reactive PR was our CEO just got caught cheating at the Coldplay concert, and now reporters are calling us. So we have to be a little
That's pretty reactive.
But
crisis management.
yeah, I guess it's a combination of things, but it's easier to find somebody who's already writing a story on something and become their source and have a unique perspective on it, or be a credible expert on something, than it is to say, oh, I did this incredible thing. I just hit a Guinness Book of World Records for the most cartwheels in a row. Let me try to get that story picked up somewhere.
Yeah, totally. And it's, if you look at the average small business owner that knows they need to get in front of their customers, knows that they need to be online and in places that their customers are reading, how does that small business owner ultimately take I mentioned how a journalist has 8 sources of income. A small business owner has 8 different responsibilities, and PR may or may not be one of them. So how does that person show up and maximize their time? And so I think that what's most interesting in 2026 is the AI components. The AI components of being able to find media opportunities to draft suggested responses as you would, and then ultimately be the human in the loop that puts that over the finish line. And so what we've done at Featured is we've developed AI products that allow you to just sign up for a free account, create a profile, and then based off that profile, we'll find media opportunities that match your relevance and your expertise, and then message you whenever there is an opportunity with an actual suggested response on how to reply. And so we're seeing that by putting people on third base and allowing them to take it across the finish line, that's been a really effective way to maximize their time and then maximize their media mentions.
Yeah, I wanted to highlight that a little bit too, because I think so much of the conversation is around generative AI. And I found in this particular case, it's not that helpful. That actually the kind of predictive analytics, the machine learning, the big data analysis of all these reporters are posting stories, or there's a million news things happening. You can't know what everybody is writing about in any given moment as a human. So this is a perfect use case for AI to say, okay, everything about me, match me to the best story possible so that I have the best chance of getting picked up. That seems like a really smart use of AI, right?
Absolutely. And don't bother me if there's something that's not relevant. HARO, on the flip side, HARO's been around since 2008. It's a 3 times a day email newsletter that summarizes these journalist requests and sends it out to the same newsletter list. And so people it worked in 2008. There wasn't AI to monitor those HAROs and to ping you when there's actually relevant opportunities. In reviving HARO and bringing it back in its original format, there's definitely value to that. A lot of people enjoy getting those 3 times a day and looking to see what journalists are writing about. But again, for that small business owner that's super busy, you need AI to filter and then ultimately identify the one that's going to be most relevant to you.